Welcome to the 8th grade Math Homework Helper Series. Tonight's homework is converting with scientific notation. The directions are to convert the following numbers to scientific notation. So we're going to start with number 2, and we have E, F, G, and H. So 2E, we have the number 9. So the thing that you want to keep in mind when you're converting to scientific notation is the first thing you want to establish is whether or not you're working with a number that is greater than 1 or equal to 1 or less than 1, because the process you're going to use is going to be a little different depending upon that. So looking at 9, we can establish that that's greater than 1, and so that means that there's a decimal point assumed to be right after the 9, and the 9 is in the 1's place, and that's actually exactly where we want it. So we don't have to move the decimal at all in this particular problem. We're going to leave it at 9, and the point 0 is assumed to be there anyway. And since we didn't have to move it, it's times 10 to the 0 power. The exponent after the 10 indicates how many moves you had to use for the decimal. So in this case, we didn't move it, we have a 0. Let's take a look at F. Now we have the number 50. Again, equal to or greater than 1. The decimal is assumed to be right after the 0, but we want the decimal to be after the 1's place, after the 5. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to move that decimal one move to the left from where it would normally be at the 0 to the other side to 5.0. And as we do that, we move the decimal one time. It's going to be 5.0 times 10 to the 1. Again, the exponent on the 10 is simply indicating how many moves the decimal had to get to for this to be in scientific notation. Okay, no matter what number we work with, whether it be like G, which is smaller than 1, or these two, which are greater than 1, we always want there to be a whole number, a decimal, and then any series of whole numbers or zeros after that. So for G, we have 0.0000125. So we want to get the decimal. The first non-zero digit here is 1. We want to get the decimal right after the 1. In doing so, it's going to take 5 moves. So we have 1.25 times 10. In this case, we move to the right, so it's going to be a negative 5. 1.25 times 10 to the negative 5. And that's another important distinction between numbers that are 1 or greater or less than 1. If you have a number that's less than 1, the exponent on the 10 is going to be a negative number. If you have a number that's 1 or greater, the exponent on the 10 is going to be a positive number. So if we take a look at H, very large number, and we want to get the decimal so that it's right in between the 9 and the 8. And we're going to have to start back here and move it this way quite a few times. 15 moves, in fact. So we have 9.854 times 10 to the, how many moves did it take? 15. So times 10 to the 15th. For number 3, E, F, G, and H, we're converting the following numbers to scientific notation. So actually we're converting these numbers to standard notation. So we have 9.512 times 10 to the 5th. And that simply means that we're going to take this decimal and move it out 5 times. So we need to add 2 zeros to accommodate those moves. And the answer is 951,200. For F, we have 3.33 times 10 to the 1. Remember, the exponent next to the 10 told you how many times you moved, so it also, in this case, tells you how many times you have to move. If it's a positive exponent, you're moving to the right. If it's a negative exponent, you're moving to the left. So we have a positive 1, so we're going to move this decimal one jump to the right. And that's going to give us 33.3. And here we have 6.5 times 10 to the 0. So how many times are we going to move the decimal? 0 times, which means we're going to stay with 6.5. And here we have 3.75 times 10 to the negative 8th. A negative exponent indicates we're going to be moving the decimal to the left, and that's going to require a fair amount of zeros. So we have 0.000000375. Please use the homework that was done for you tonight to help you to solve any additional problems that's on your homework. And remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.